Hello, it's the Friday Talkie. So after last week's bonanza of interesting subject matter to talk about, this week I've got virtually bugger all. Really struggle to find anything remotely interesting. And the first thing I'm going to kind of almost talk about, but not quite, is, well, I can't really tell you. Alright, here's the thing. I've mentioned before I get to meet or speak with programmers of the games that I make the videos of. You know, that they'll stumble across my videos on here and say hi or whatever, and that's really great. I thoroughly enjoy that. I also get to speak with some very interesting people through my website. It seems to bring in a different kind of interested people, shall we say. Just recently there was a journalist who wanted to do an article on me and my collection, but then I informed him that I didn't actually have the biggest collection in the UK, at which point he said, okay, can you give me the email address of the person who has? So I did. I hope that works out well. I'm not one to claim to be something I'm not, and I haven't got the biggest collection, so I couldn't say, yeah, that's me. I hope that turns out well for the person who I passed him on to. You know who you are. Also recently I got an email from what initially I thought was a researcher, because I've had contact with researchers from TV stations before, but this actually turned out to be an assistant producer for the BBC, and I was like, yay, I want to be on telly. But no, that's not what they were doing. I can't really say what they were doing, but they were looking for input from me, which I find absolutely thrilling. I mean, yeah, I'd like to get on telly, but just to know that someone at the BBC knows who I am and wanted my opinion on something, bloody brilliant. Really, really made me smile. Can't tell you what that was about, and there's something else I can't tell you about. I get information about things that I can't tell you. I had contact from a very interesting person with information about something, wanting opinion on something that is incredibly cool, and I can't tell you what it is. But having a website, it's like, if you've got a YouTube channel and it's retro gaming, make yourself a website. I know Retro Gamer VX is doing that, a few people are doing that, and it's very, very worthwhile. Apart from the fact that you can increase your viewer base on YouTube, it attracts the attention of people who have the potential to do things for you, get you noticed, something, you know, people with influence, you can get noticed. Yeah, that's about all I've got to say about that. Build a website and then link to mine. Okay, the other thing, I get asked quite often, so yeah, you've got all this retro gaming stuff, but have you got any modern games? Do you play modern games? And yes, I do. And then I got to thinking, well, actually at the moment, no, I've got the hardware, I've got the software. Do I play them? No. And I sort of thought about that. This happens every generation of gaming hardware. It has always happened with me. And I don't know if it's the same with any of you. You get your hardware, your new console or computer or whatever, and you play the games and it's all, wow, this is bloody awesome. And then it reaches a point where, yes, the technical aspects are still awesome. I'm still loving the graphics and the physics and all of the things on PlayStation 3 games. But it's reached a point where it's like, yeah, been there, done that. Racing games. I have no interest in buying any more racing games because I've got Gran Turismo. And to me, and this is entirely my own personal preference, once I've got Gran Turismo, there's no need to buy any other racing games because it does everything I want in a racing game, and there's nothing else this generation that's going to beat it for me, unless they manage to do like Gran Turismo 6 or something. Yeah, first-person shooters. Well, I've got several, and I found myself playing, God, I can't even remember what it's called. Killzone 2, just because I could get it cheap. And you know what? I got bored. It was like, yeah, I've done this already. I've played Half-Life 2. I've played, God, what's it called? They're not in here anymore. Resistance 1 and 2. Played them, loved them. And it was like, yeah, I've done all this, I just don't care anymore. And I got through 2 or 3 levels and just stopped. And I'm not into beat-em-ups, and I'm not really, I don't know, I'm not into your RPGs. So I have reached a point this generation where, unless someone comes up with something new, I'm just going to find myself playing Battlefield 1943, Gran Turismo, and nothing else. And I don't even have the time for them at the moment. And here is a thing as well that I have found, especially more in this generation than previously. Games for current generation hardware are big. They've got a lot of depth, and you have to commit a lot of time to them to get the most out of them, or even to get anything out of them. You've got to be able to commit to them, to learn the control system for a start, to work out storylines if there is one. And the problem with that is, if you stop for a week, find you haven't got the time, you come back to it, you can't remember where you were, what the controls are. I have that problem loads. I've left so many games sitting on the shelf because I forgot what the controls were and couldn't be bothered to learn them all again, because you learn the controls at the start. Modern games, they do, I love this hand-holding thing they do, you know, where they teach you the controls in the first level. Saves you reading a manual that thick with all the instructions and crap. But if you then stop, there's no quick reference, or if there is, I'm just not looking. I don't know. But I do find, you know, if I've left a game and come back to it, I'm like, can't remember how to play this. Yeah, I am that lazy. I'm sure I could find out how to pick it all up again. But I'm just like, nah, sod that, and I go on and play something new. Only I'm not finding anything new that I want to play. So given that time is limited, and there's nothing new I want to play, I now find myself just largely playing retro stuff. And I've always said I'm not a casual gamer, but really, I think in a sense I am. I'm playing retro games as a form of casual gaming because they are very pick up and play. So while I don't like all this flash-based web browser stuff that you get, that is generically termed casual gaming, and the stuff on the Wii, I don't like all that. I am still pretty much casual gaming these days. It's what comes with having a life, really. I met Andrea, and I got a social life, and we got married, and it's like, yeah, committed to domestic living, and so gaming, don't have the time for it. Not the real proper. Well, an example is back when I lived in Milton Keynes, me and a friend of mine used to sit up playing Command & Conquer Red Alert from like 7 o'clock at night until 10 o'clock the next morning. I would say non-stop, but we did stop to eat and drink and pee. In fact, we usually got absolutely blind drunk. But you know, 7 at night till 10 in the morning, Command & Conquer. Don't have the time for that kind of thing anymore. That's what happens when you get older. You get a life. But retro gaming, there is still time for it, and probably will buy the next generation of hardware when it comes along, so long as it's not all this cloud computing, cloud gaming thing. I want my game on a disc or a cartridge. I want physical media, and I want it to play on my console, not on someone's server. If that happens, I will not continue to buy current or next gen hardware. As soon as that, what's that thing called? I know there's one thing that does that already, and I've forgotten what it's called. I know a few people have done videos of it. Tiny little console, and it just streams the footage down your broadband connection. In fact, I mean, broadband in the UK isn't capable of that anyway. Forgotten what it's called. Someone will know. Yes. Okay. Rambling. Totally. I'm sure you get the point. This is going to be an appalling video. After last week's extravaganza, I've got nothing left. I'm sorry. I have got a shout out though, so let me just swing the camera around and we'll do that. Okay, I've got to be really quick here because my battery's just about dead. This week's shout out goes to... God, how do you pronounce this? I'm going to say Polaventris. So while I struggle to pronounce that, I absolutely can't pronounce his name. I don't know how you say that, but that doesn't matter because that's not what we're looking at his channel for. His channel is great. He is doing videos of Commodore 64 games. Basically, plug it in, play it, talk, commentary, good commentary. He's got a very dry sense of humour, which I find very appealing. I like that kind of thing. He's from Finland, so he's got an accent, but I think his English is better than he realises because I have no problem understanding what he's saying at all. In fact, I think I can understand him more than I can understand myself sometimes when I can't get my words out. Yeah, he's got how many videos has he got? Quite a lot. In fact, he's really piling them in there. Loads and loads of Commodore 64 games with the amusing commentary. I like his commentary style. Currently at 34 subscribers. And I totally recommend checking out his channel. If you like your Commodore 64 stuff, if you like an interesting accent, if you like a very dry sense of humour, have a look. I like his channel. I've been subscribed for, I'm not sure how long, a while, and very much enjoy what he does. There you go. Right, my battery's flat, so I've got no time for closing comments, so I'm going to say thank you for watching.